We're the Ghostbusters.
I'm Spencer. He's Tracy.
I'm Kong. We're the Ghostbusters. We're clever, courageous, and strong. Your sleep has been haunted with whispers.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Markers and Monsters. I'm Colin, and today we have a very special episode for you. Yes, this was a viewer commission by young Victor, big fan of some awesome old TV shows. He's here wearing his Tracy the Gorilla costume, which is one of the best things I can imagine. You know, it really warms my heart to know that the younger generations are still into this cool old stuff that I grew up on. Victor, you got good taste, and I'm excited to do this drawing for you. So without further ado, let's get started. So my initial game plan here is to draw the three main characters of the Ghostbusters. That's Spencer, Tracy, and Kong in front of their Ghostbuster symbol, and maybe put some spooky tombstones at the bottom, as, you know, they're always in this haunted castle and this little graveyard set and whatever. So I'm just going to start here roughing in this simple Ghostbusters shape. Now, spoiler alert, I later change this up. I don't like the position of it on the page, and I change it. I really wanted to showcase those three figures, but at this stage in this drawing, or really any drawing, getting in these rough shapes and just planning out where I want things is where I want to start. So as you can see, there's Tracy's kind of shoulders and where her or his head's going to be. Put in the heads of where the two Ghostbusters are going to be, and just rough it out and get that composition down. Doing that kind of planning in the beginning of a drawing is one of the most important steps, I feel. Just figuring out where everything is on the page and just the overall vibe of the scene and everything. It's important to me, and so it's something I take a lot more time on than anything else. While I'm sketching this in, let's talk a little bit about the Ghostbusters. As you can tell from reading the title, this is a 1975 show, predates Ghostbusters, the one everybody's probably thinking of right now, by like 9 years, I think it was. This was a Saturday morning cartoon, or Saturday morning live action show, put out by Filmation, of all people. It starred Forrest Tucker and Larry Storch from F Troop. If you guys remember F Troop, big shout out. That was one of my faves when I was a kid. Nick at Night, heck yeah. As these two, I don't know, goofy, slapstick, almost vaudevillian characters. Spencer, he's the one in the hat and the suit there on the left, and Kong, he's on the right. He has the 5 on his shirt. These two guys and their, I don't know, pet gorilla? I don't know, maybe third member of their team just happens to be a gorilla named Tracy. They are the Ghostbusters. They bust ghosts, right? So people, every episode, 22-minute little, episodes, if somebody's got a problem, there's a ghost haunting them. They call the Ghostbusters, who work out of this dilapidated office. And they're like, hey, come get our ghost out of our house. The ghost always is, for some reason, in a spooky castle or a cemetery on the outskirts of town. And they drive their Ghostbusters jalopy there and bust this ghost. It's a great show. It's super charming, super fun, super old school. I don't know. I had a ton of fun rewatching these episodes. I have fond memories of this from when I was a kid. It was on TV, and there was a follow-up cartoon show that followed Spencer and Kong's kids. And I don't know if it was Kong's kid or if it was just Kong, but they had a gorilla too. So they made an animated show off of that. Cool toys that existed, so just neat stuff. Let's talk back about the drawing here for a minute while I'm inking up. As you can see, I redrew that Ghostbusters logo behind them to lift it up just a bit. Where I had it before was kind of nice and centralized, but Tracy's big old head blocked the view, and I didn't want that. Roughing it in like this, I wasn't too worried in the drawing phase about their exact facial expressions or anything. I know enough to be able to go in during the inking stage to do that, and I'm really looking for almost simplistic, almost caricature-like looks of the characters. I don't need to be too exact with making it look exactly like Larry Storch or Forrest Tucker, but close enough is good enough for me in this kind of a drawing at this kind of a scale. I'm going in with these Copic multi-liners, which I can use the Copic markers over the top of real easily, and just giving it a nice outline. I'm not worried too much about making every line thick or making every line connect. I think one of the tips with any kind of a drawing is sometimes less is more. You don't have to make every single line absolutely perfect. You don't have to make every single line connect. You can leave these little gaps and holes and whatever, and the human eye is going to fill in any kind of missing details. And that's kind of what I'm going for here. Just a loose drawing here of adding them in. And I think putting them in loose and knowing that I'm going to color over the top is really going to help this drawing. Let's finish up here just doing this rough inking. I'm saving the faces for last. Maybe that's a mistake. They're the hardest part for me. But yeah, I just, like I said, wanted to kind of get everything in pretty loose first, then we'll go in with the markers. As the inking is getting pretty much done here, I'm going to start with my darkest darks. And then I kind of work in a weird like dark to light sort of way, fill in that background, Ghostbusters logo, and kind of work down the image. I've been using a lot of kneaded erasers to erase things. That kind of leaves less eraser dust, which in my new office means less for me to vacuum up once I'm done with a drawing. So kneaded eraser has been my friend. Look at that. Comes right off. No dust laying around. Love it. All right, let's get in here with the markers. And like I said, starting with the dark, I don't like using just a solid black with the markers. I like using warm grays and various dark tones. I think it gives a nicer, richer color, and I dig that. Let's talk a little bit more about the Ghostbusters. Yes, when I was a wee young Colin, the Ghostbusters, I used to watch it on Saturday mornings and on reruns and stuff. 1975, little bit earlier than my time, but they were still on TV. I remember watching them before I was in any kind of school, and my family shopped a lot of Big Lots growing up. Shout out to Big Lots. And they always had the Ghostbusters toys there from the cartoon show. And boy, my little 5-year-old brain could not grasp how there was this Ghostbusters, but also the other Ghostbusters with the Proton Pack and the Slimer and the what have you. Clearly, the Ghostbusters with Venkman and Egon, all those crew were way more popular. But this has a special place in my heart. I watched a ton of episodes when doing this drawing, and I love the charm of it. Just the simple, lighthearted fun. I love that a lot of the ghosts that they go after are kind of from history. Like you get like a Cleopatra, you get like an old school gangster. They had like the Canterville ghost, stuff like that. Vikings, pirates, almost Scooby-Doo like in the way that the ghosts are presented. And I think that's so cool. I think it's so charming and such a part of our culture that we've lost to an extent. I feel like it's push and a pull. For everything you lose, you gain something, and vice versa. And I feel like we get all these wild ghosts and monsters and stuff in shows, slimy and dripping, and the special effects they use are incredible. But that means that a lot of shows, that's all they do. All they do is dripping ghouls and monsters. And you don't see a lot of this, just it's a guy in a wig who's pretending to be, some kind of old caricature of like a cowboy or something, and that's your ghost. I don't know. It's just fun. It's charming. Slapstick's great. Bob Burns, film historian and ape costume enthusiast, is dressed up as Tracy, and they do a lot of fun gags and just general silliness. Like, boy, don't go into this show looking for a big pathos or an epic story that's going to span all the episodes. It's just fun, and it's just entertaining. And frankly, I really think this would hold up for young people today. And heck, Victor is the perfect showcase of that. I mean, when I heard, 7 years old, loves the Ghostbusters, that just melts my heart. That's so awesome. We're going to add in a little fur texture here on Tracy and get that looking good. I didn't want Tracy to look like a real gorilla. I wanted it to look like a guy in a gorilla suit. That's something else I love. Guy in a gorilla suit, love it. You don't see that too much anymore. Don't get me wrong. I love the new King Kong movies that they're putting out. I can't wait to go see the second Kong versus Godzilla movie. But, boy, there is an old school charm to a dude in a gorilla suit that, like, you just can't match that. I'd watch that any day of the week. I made Spencer's costume, he wears like a blue-gray suit. So I kind of went over with a baby blue and then over top of it with a neutral gray to kind of tone it down a bit. So you still get a little bit of that blue shining through. Love that purple hat band too. What a nice pop of color against the yellow. Tracy in every episode wears a multitude of different hats. I chose the beanie here as it's kind of iconic to the character. The first time you see Tracy in the show, he's wearing that yellow beanie. And I believe it comes back once or twice, although don't quote me on that. But he had tons of different hats, little straw boater hats, a captain's hats, a pirate's hats, just a different hat for a different occasion. And wow, that's awesome. A gorilla wearing a hat, man. I love that to death. Good stuff. So coloring it in, I'm just adding a little bit of depth and stuff to each line, each color. I'm not going for this insane, realistic style, almost like a comic book vibe. And I feel that works super well with this particular show. It's I don't know if colorful is the right word. It's colorful in its writing, its dialogue, its jokes. But a lot of times they're sneaking around the same sets of a dingy old castle. And God, I love that too. You don't see that too much anymore. Everybody tries to do something in horror and spookiness that's very unique, and I feel like a lot of the classics don't get their due. So spooky castles and cobwebs and mist and smoke, like I'm adding in here now, you just don't see it as much as you used to, and boy, I miss that. Horror doesn't need to be intense blood and gore and all that stuff. Although, I have no problem with that. I like some of that on occasion, but spooky castles will never lose their magic for me. And that is a Markers and Monsters guarantee. We're going to end off kind of where we started with this, kind of cap it off by doing this Ghostbusters logo here. I didn't add the G and the B that's in the ghost body because I feel like you wouldn't even see that. And it would really take away from Tracy there. So we're going to outline it with these oranges, kind of go in with some more yellows here. Just give it a nice, cool vibe to it. Really honor the Ghostbusters. They dematerialized ghosts so that Egon could use his thing. I really feel like Ghostbusters from the 80s wouldn't really have been a thing as much without this show. I don't know why. I may be wrong here. Couple white highlights. Let's finish this guy off. Little Tracy's knuckles, a little bit of fur, stuff like that. Loving this. Tombstones say R.I.P. and skulls on them. Classic. All right, guys, this is looking awesome. Sign up and let's take a look at the scan. Very, very cool. I know I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Victor, my friend, you have got some good taste. Thank you for commissioning this piece of art. I hope you enjoy it. And keep watching and keep drawing. That's the other thing. A lot of people I talk to are like, oh, you're so talented. I wish I could draw. I can't draw a stick figure. And I get what you're saying, but drawing, like playing an instrument or being good at math or science or whatever, sure, maybe you have a slight disposition towards it when you're young, but like anything, it's a skill. It's not magic. Work at it, find things you like, practice, draw all the time, you'll be great. A lot of people, especially when they're young, I feel give up drawing. They say, I can't do it right. And then they just stop. So if you love it, keep at it. Keep being creative. Keep drawing. I don't know. I'll get down off my soapbox and finish up the video here. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. All of the Ghostbusters episodes, to my knowledge, are on YouTube right now, so you can go and watch them. It's a great way to kill 20 minutes of your time, have a charming little experience, maybe watch it with some young folks in your life, and keep drawing. That's it for me, guys. This has been Colin. This has been awesome, and we'll see you on the next episode of Markers and Monsters. Bye!
We're ready for anything. We're bold and we're fearless and never afraid. We're always prepared. We're right there with everything. With us on the job, trouble soon fade. The Ghostbusters do it again.